All right, so we start with me. I'm gonna take this desk if that's all right. Okay. So they're at Portia's house, which is like the nicest house in town. And there's a flourish of cornets, and enter the Prince of Morocco, a tawny Moor all in white, which basically means he is from someplace exotic, you know, for the play's purposes, but usually dark skinned. And 3 or 4 followers accordingly, with Portia, Nerissa, and their turn. So there's something sort of formal going on here. Mislike me not for my complexion, the shadowed livery of the burnished sun, to whom I am a neighbor and near bred. Bring me the fairest creature northward born, where Phoebus's fire scarce thaws the icicles, and let us make incision for your love, to prove whose blood is reddest, his or mine. I tell thee, lady, this aspect of mine hath feared the valiant. By my love, I swear, the best regarded virgins of our clime have loved it too. I would not change this hue except to steal your thoughts, my gentle queen.
In terms of choice, I'm not solely led by my direction of the barring me the right of volunteers. But if my father had not scanted me, and to me by his to yield myself, his wife who lived by my myself, you know, and stood there.
So I think it's important here to pause for a second. So the Prince of Morocco is concerned that his skin color is going to be a problem to Portia. And so he's like, don't worry, even though I'm dark, everybody loves me, type of an idea. And Portia's like, yeah, I'm not that superficial. I'm good. But I don't get to choose. So we don't get the impression that she like is, you know, disgusted by the Prince of Morocco or thinks that he would not be an appropriate match for her. She is just totally indifferent to him. Like whatever my dad says, I have to do. So it doesn't really matter, you know, what you look like. But if you win, then great. All right. Even for that, I thank you. Therefore, I pray you lead me to the caskets to try my fortune. By this scimitar that slew the Sophie and a Persian prince that won 3 fields of Sultan Suleiman, I would or stare the sternest eyes that look, outbrave the heart most daring on the earth, pluck the young sucking cubs from the she-bear, yea, mock the lion when it roars for prey to win thee, lady. But alas, the while, if Hercules and Lychus play at dice, which is the better man, the greater throw may turn by fortune the weaker hand. So is Alcides beaten by his page, and so may I, blind fortune leading me, miss that which one unworthier may attain, and die with grieving.
You must take a chance.
So what happens if he chooses the wrong casket? What was it? Yeah, not just her, any lady. He's never allowed to ask another lady to marry him. So if he chooses the wrong casket, and I guess it's just by his honor. I don't really know how a dead father can make sure that happens, but he's not supposed to ever ask somebody to marry him again. He'll just die alone. So sad. Nor will not. Come, bring unto me my chance. Good fortune then, to make me blessed or cursed among men. And everybody leaves. Okay, now we're on the streets of Venice and enter Lancelot Gobbo, the clown, alone.
Certainly my conscience will serve me to rush from this stream on us. The fiend is at my elbow, saying to me, Gobbo, Lancelot, Gobbo, good Lancelot, or good Gobbo, or good Lancelot. Use your legs, take the start, run away. My conscience says, no, take heed, honest Lancelot, take heed, honest Gobbo. Whereas of course, honest Lancelot, Gobbo, do not run, scorn, running with thy heels. Well, the most courageous fiend bids me back. Yes, says the fiend, away, says the fiend, to the heavens, rouse up the brave mind, says the fiend, in front. While my conscience hanging about the neck of my heart says very wisely to me, my honest friend Lancelot, being an honest man's son, or rather, an honest woman's son, indeed, my father did something smack, something worthy. He had a kind of taste. Well, my conscience says, Lancelot, budge not. Budge, says the fiend, budge not, says my conscience. Conscience, says I, you counsel well. Fiend, says I, you counsel well.
Okay, weird little speech, but basically he's talking about having like a devil and an angel on his shoulders, kind of an idea. And he's saying the devil is telling him, leave Shylock's service. This is Shylock's like, I don't know, like employee. And he's saying, leave his service, and his conscience is saying, no, you shouldn't leave. And he's confused because he's like, well, why is it the devil that's telling me to leave? Like, that's the bad thing to do. But we all know Jews are of the devil. So it's like this way of saying that, like, he knows his conscience is telling him it is good to be a loyal employee to this Jewish man. There's nothing wrong with the fact that he's Jewish. It's good to stay, working for somebody that you have like pledged your loyalty, right? And yet here on the other side, the devil is saying to leave him, and that contradicts the social norms at the time, which is saying that Jews are, evil or greedy or whatever. Does that make sense? So that's why they have this little speech in here. All right, here enter old Gobo with a basket.
Master young man, you are crazy. We can join you. Oh heavens, this is my true forgotten father who is more than sand blind, high gravel blind, knows me not. I will try confusions with him. Master young man, I pray you make me atheist Jews. Turn up on your right hand at the next turning. For the next turning of all, on your left, Mary, at the very next turning, turn of no hand, but turn down indirectly to do something. He watched our keys to your heart to please with it. Until you miss the one therefore that kills the gift, everything is wrong. Talk you of young master Lancelot? It's like, where do you know? Now will I raise the water. Talk you of young master Lancelot? Whom yester served by for me as son, father, so my face, honest for me and God be saved.
What is this accent?
I don't know.
I feel like he's from like Nova Scotia.
Sounds like a Minnesota like winter sports.
Yeah, it's really good. Okay.
Well, let his father be a will. We talk of young master Lancelot, who worships faith and faithful serve. When I pray you, ergo, old man, ergo, I beseech you, talk you of young master Lancelot, if Lancelot and please your master sheep. Ergo, master Lancelot, talk not of master Lancelot, father, for the young gentleman, according to the faith and recipes of such odd sayings, the sisters three in such branches of learning, is indeed deceased, or as you would say in plain terms, gone to heaven. Mary God forbid, boy who is very staff my very thought. Do I look like a cudgel or a horrible post, a staff or a thought? Do you know me, father? The next day I know you not, you citizen, but I pray you tell me if my boy, God rest his soul, alive or dead. Do you not know me, father? Black sir, I am 10 lines, I know you not. Nay, indeed, if you had your eyes, you might fail of the knowledge, of the knowing me. It is a wise father that knows his own child. Well, old man, I will tell you news of your son. Give me your blessing. Truth will come to light. Murder cannot be hid long. A man's son may, but in the end, truth will out. Pray you, sir, stand up. I shall do not Lancelot, my boy. Pray you, let that no more people out with it. Give me your blessing. I am Lancelot, your boy that was. Your son that is, your child that shall be. If not, take your my son. I know not that I shall think of that, but I am Lancelot, the newsman, and I am sure Marjorie, your wife, is my mother. Name is Marjorie, indeed, I'll be sworn. If thou be Lancelot, thou art mine own flesh and blood. Lord, worship might be, what a beard hast thou got? Thou hast stuck my hair on my chin, and daubing my silver sock, I lock his tail.
Just to be clear, right in the scene, I just get this from the notes. In the stage direction, he's basically feeling the top of his son's head and saying, "Oh, what a nice beard you have."
It should seem then that Dobbin's tail grows backwards. I am sure he has more hair of his tail than I have of my face when I last saw him. Lord, how art thou changed? How dost thou and my master agree? I have brought him a present. How grieve thou? Well, but for mine own part, as I have set up my rest to run away, So I will not rest till I have run some ground. My master is a very Jew. Give him a present, give him a halter. I am famished in his service. You may tell every finger I have with my ribs. Father, I am glad you are come. Give me a present to one master pass up the Sonio, who indeed gives rare new liveries. If I serve him not, if I not serve him, I will run as far as God has any ground. O rare fortune, here comes the man. To him, Father, for I am a Jew. If I serve the Jew, we all do.
Okay, so this is kind of like a little comic relief in the play. Basically, they would have Shakespeare would often have like characters representing sort of like lower points on a social stratum come in and do something goofy. So that's what's happening here. Lancelot, it has basically, it's like a very mean joke. I don't think we would necessarily laugh at it now, but Lancelot basically says to his blind father, like, oh, I'm sorry, your son is dead. And the father is like, this is so heartbreaking, right? And then Lancelot says, just kidding, I'm your son, and then has to convince him he's his son. So it's just this like kind of like lower comedy going on. But then at the end here, he says, basically, he's afraid that if he keeps working for the Jew, he's going to be too much associated with Jewishness. Okay, so enter Bassanio with Leonardo and a follower or two.
You may do so, but let it be stated that supper be ready before this by 5 o'clock. See the letters delivered, put deliveries to making, and desire great something to come anon to my lord.
Is he Russian?
I switched to Russian there, yes.
Okay, he's Russian now. Awesome.
He's Russian now.
Okay.
Slash.
Yes.
All right, one of his men leaves.
To him, Father,
God bless your worship.
Gra mercy. What is thou on with thee?
it is my son, sir, upon a boy, not a poor boy, sir, but the rich Jews, man, that would serve, if, as my father shall specify.
He has a great inspection, sir, as one would say, deserved.
Indeed, the short and the long is, I serve the Jew, and have a desire, as my father shall specify.
His master and he, saving worship, reverence, our care, center, poet, present, cater, present.
To be brief, the very truth is that the Jew, having done me wrong, does cause me, as my father, being, I hope, an old man, shall fruitify upon me.
If you have your edition down, for I would bestow upon your worship in 2 days.
In very brief, the suit is impertinent, that myself, as your worship, shall know by this honest old man. And now I say it, thou old man, yet poor man, my father.
One speak for both. What would you?
Serve you, sir.
It is very defective matter, sir.
I know thee well. Thou hast obtained thy suit. Shylock thy master spoke with me this day, and hath preferred thee, if it be preferment to leave a rich Jew service to become the follower of so poor a gentleman.
The old proverb is very well parted between my master Shylock and you, sir. You have the grace of God, sir, and he hath enough.
Thou speakest it well. Go farther, and with thy son. Take leave of thy old master and inquire by lodging out. Give him a library more guarded than his fellows. See it done.
Father, I cannot get a service, no. I have ne'er a tongue in my head. Well, if any man in Italy have a fair table, which doth offer to swear upon a book, I shall have good fortune. Go to, here's a simple line of life. Here's a small trifle of wives. Alas, 15 wives is nothing. 11 widows and 9 maids is simple coming in for one man. And then to stake that drowning thrice, and to be in peril of my life at the edge of a feather bed, here are simple escapes. Well, if fortune be a woman, she's a good bench for this year. Father, come, I'll take my leave of the Jew.
I pray thee, good Leonardo, think on this. These things being brought and orderly bestowed, return in haste, for I do feast tonight. My best esteemed acquaintance, I thee go.
My best endeavor shall be done today.
Enter Graciano.
Where is your master? Yonder, sir, he walks.
Exit Leonardo.
Signor,
Yeah, senor.
Signor Bastiano,
Gratiano,
I have to
you have obtained it.
You must not deny me. I must go with you to Belmont.
Why, then you must. But hear thee, Gratiano, thou art too wild, too rude, and too bold of voice. Parts that become thee happily enough, and in such eyes as ours appear not false. But where thou art not known, why, there they show. Something too behavior be misconstrued, I don't know,
Misconstrued, basically.
okay, misconstrued read in the place I go to and lose my hopes.
Senor Bastiano, hear me. If I do not put on a sober habit, proper respect, I can swear but now and then. Wear prayer books in my pocket, look through merrily. Say more of all graces, saying, with mine eyes, thus with my hat, and sigh and say, Amen. Use all the observance of civility, like one studied in a sad offset. Please, to please his grandam, never trust me.
Well, we shall see your bearing.
Nay, but I watch tonight, you shall not try, gauge me by what you did tonight.
Know that there were pity. I would entreat you rather to put on your boldest suit of mirth, for we are friends that purpose merriment. But fare you well, I have some business.
And I must do Lorenzo and the rest, but we will visit you at supper time.
Okay, so basically Graciano is going to go with Bassanio to Portia's house to like help win Portia's favor, right? But he's like, but Graciano, you are like way too like blunt with the things you say. You're basically like too informal. So if you could be a little bit more proper for the occasion. And Graciano's like, awesome, I will, but not tonight. Tonight we party. And Bastiano is like, yeah, for sure. Like tonight is party time, but then when we go to Belmont, that's when you should be more proper. Okay, so now we are at Shylock's house, and Jessica, who is Shylock's daughter, and Lancelot the clown come in.
Okay, I'm so sorry thou wilt leave my father so, our house is hell, and thou marry a devil. Disrob it of some taste of tediousness, but fare thee well, for there is a ducat for thee, and Lancelot, soon at supper shalt thou see Lorenzo, who is thy new master's guest. Give him this letter, do it secretly, and so farewell. I would not have my father see me and talk with thee.
Adieu, spirits exhibit my heart. Most beautiful pagan, most sweet Christians do not play the knave and get me. I am much deceived. But adieu, these foolish drops to something down my manly spirit. Adieu.
Farewell, good Lancelot. Alack, what highness sin is it in me to be ashamed to be my father's child? But though I am I am a daughter to his blood, I am not to his manners. O Lorenzo, if thou keep promise, I shall end the strife, becoming a Christian and thy loving wife.
All right, so now we've got another match happening here. And this is one of those scenes where it's like, this is not necessarily like, we don't know how to take it because it's Lancelot who has already described some like very racist feelings about Jews, right? He's the one who is saying like, oh, beautiful pagan, most sweet Jew, if a Christian do not play the knave, and get thee, I am much deceived. So like he thinks like the highest order that Jessica can achieve is to like drop her Jewishness and marry a Christian, right? That would be, you know, the greatest thing she could do. But then we have Jessica who kind of like supports that, internalizes that, all right, in a way, and says, oh, Lorenzo, if thou keep promise, I shall end this strife, become a Christian and thy loving wife. And end this strife is interesting there. What do you guys make of that little phrase? She says, if thou keep promise, I shall end this strife, become a Christian and thy wife. So she loves Lorenzo. She's giving him a little note, or yeah, Lorenzo. And that's how she expresses the reason why part of the reason why she is in love with him, I think. Was end this strife being in this context. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so it's like being a Jew for her has caused her so much pain or so much like ostracization or whatever that she kind of she imagines that being married to Lorenzo is going to be the way out of that sort of setting for her. Okay, so then we're at scene 4. So we've got, now we need a Salario and Solanio. Again, these are those bros that were like, oh, it's so annoying when you're sad. It makes me depressed too. Yeah, do we have a Lorenzo yet? We need a Lorenzo, who now we know is the boyfriend of Jessica. We need a Shylock. I think that's gonna be it. Until the end, I want to say Narissa might have it. Nope. Oh, yep, Narissa Alexa has one. Someone named Aragon. Another suitor. Really?
My answer is the same.
Okay, I was like Lord of the Rings fan or got it. And then a messenger at the end. Okay, so we got a bunch of parts. Everybody's got to kind of do pull both going on here. So I will be one of these, but I'll just take what's left over. A Portia can play one of these. Who would Portia also like to play one of these?
Just pick one.
All right, you're gonna be Solario, not Portia. You were Caitlin. And then a Solanio, I think we could have, anyone can do it. You guys can figure it out. Who could be Solanio? Angelina. Yeah. Who? Ella, will you be Lorenzo?
Yeah.
Okay, did you have one yet? Who would like to play Shylock? Oh, Kylie likes playing Shylock. Okay. Narissa can be played by anybody who is not up here. So who would like to play Narissa, the maid lady, handmaid, Jaden? And then the another suitor. Who would like to play the other suitor? I will do it. I like playing the suitors. We're just gonna go all the way to Act 2. It seems like there's a lot because it like shifts over a lot, but the scenes are quite short. So we are on page 31. Enter Graciano, Lorenzo, Solario, and Solanio.
Wow. Hey, we sent away a couple times. Decided us at my lodging and return off an hour. We have not made good preparation. It's now 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. We have 2 hours for it.
So they're getting ready for a big party. Enter Lancelot with a letter. I think it's Lorenzo. Yeah.
Oh, that was a line. No, it was my last call. Oh, no.
You say, friend Lancelot, what's the news?
Sorry. Frank Lancelot, what's the news?
And it shall see the breakup. This it shall see.
I know the man. It's faced with fair hand. Wider than the paper it's on. Is the fair hand that way. Love news is fate.
I will Vincent, wonder dost thou? Mary, sir, to bid my old master to such my new master the Christian.
Oh, here, take this. Take gentle Jessica. I will not fail her. Speak it right.
All right, Lancelot goes to give that message.
Go, gentlemen. Will you prepare you for this mass tonight? I am provided of a torchbearer. Hey, Marion, I'll be gone about this. Phoebe and Graciano's lodgings from our end.
All right, they leave. They're going to like, get the party decorations, I guess.
Was not that letter from fair Jessica?
That's good.
I must needs tell thee all. She hath directed. How I shall pay for my father's house, with gold and jewels she is furnished with, will take the stooge, track, fetchings, and heirs to his father come to heaven. It will be for his gentle daughter's sake. Never fear misfortune prosper us, not much do it under his excuse. That she is issued to faithless Judah. Come, go with me to prove this and thou mayest.
So Fair Jessica's plan is to dress up like a page, so like a boy, grab a bunch of gold from the house and leave with Lorenzo. All right, so now we are in front of Shylock's house. Enter Shylock the Jew and Lancelot, his man that was the clown.
Well, thou shalt see thy eyes shall be thy judge. Difference of which Shylock and Bassiano, what Jessica thou shalt not gorm in thy eyes, as thou hast done with me. What?
Jessica!
Sorry, friend of hell out by Jessica.
So he's basically like calling, Jessica, Jessica, where are you, kind of thing. Okay.
Jessica,
Who did thee call? I did not bid thee call.
your worship was wont to tell me I could do nothing without it.
Enter Jessica.
Oh, you, what is your will?
I am bid forth to supper Jessica and there are my keys, but wherefore should I go? I'm not bid for love, they flatter me. But yet I'll go in haste.
feed upon the prodigal Christian. Look to my house, I am right, loath to go. There is some ill brewing towards my rest, for I did dream of my bags.
So Shylock was invited to this party and he's like, I'm not going because I like them. I'm going because I hate them. I'm a feast on Christian flesh tonight kind of a thing. And then he says, I can tell, like, just by them inviting me, I can tell there's like something ill brewing in the air. Like there's some trickery going on here.
I beseech you, sir, go. My young master doth expect your approach.
So do I his.
And they have conspired together. I will not say you shall see a mass, but if you do, then it was not for nothing that my nose fell bleeding on Black Monday, last at 6 o'clock. I, in the morning, falling out here on Ash Wednesday, was 4 here in the afternoon.
What are there masks? Hear you me, Jessica. Oh, Jessica, lock up my doors, and when you hear the drum and the vile squealing of the weariness, wry-necked pipe, clamber not up to your class, cease with Ben, nor thrust your head into the public street to gaze on Christian fools with varnished faces, but stop my house fears. I mean, my peaceableness. Let not the savage shell of foppery enter my sober house. I think thou, I swear, I have no mind to be support. But I will go. Go you before me, Sariah. I say I will come.
I will go before, sir. Mistress, look out window for all this. There will come a Christian, I will be worth the Jew's die.
So it's like he says to Shylock says to Jessica, close up the windows, do not look outside. These Christians are up to no good, right? And to the side, Lancelot is like, hey, just so you know, like there's a guy that's coming by that's going to be worth your eye. Like she knows it's Lorenzo. So it's like a little aside there. Okay.
What says the fool haggard offspring, huh?
His words were farewell, mistress, nothing else.
The page is kind enough, but you hater. Snail slow and profit, he sleeps quietly, more than the wildcat. Your own tie is not with me, therefore I part with him and part with him. One that I would have to help him waste borrowed hers. Well, just go with. Perhaps I will return immediately. Do as I bid you, shut doors after you. Fast five, fast five. A proverb, never stale in 50.
Farewell, and if my fortune be not crossed, I have a father, you a daughter lost.
All right. And now enter the maskers, Gratiano and Celerio.
This is the penthouse under which Lorenzo desired us to make stand.
His hours of his past.
And it is marveled he lost hours for lovers ever run with the thought.
Still left God. Indeed, our
That ever holds. Who rises from a with that keen appetite that sits down? Where is the horse that doth untread again his tedious measures with unmated fire that could face them first? All things that are more with spirit chase than enjoy. How like a younger or a prodigal with scarce dark foots from her native bank, hugged and embraced by the strumpet wind, how like a prodigal does she return, with overweathered ribs and ragged sails, being pranced and favored by the strumpet wind.
Enter Lorenzo.
Here comes Lorenzo. Sweet friends, your patience, my long life. Not I, but my affairs have been. For the beach to rise, I'll walk as long as we approach. Here's will my father do. Oh, here's the
Enter Jessica from above in boys' clothes, so like out a window.
Who are you? Tell me for more certainty. Albeit I swear I do know your tongue.
Lorenzo, and thy love.
Lorenzo certain, and my love indeed. For who love I so much? And now, who knows but you, Lorenzo, whether I am yours?
Heaven and its altar witness that thou art.
Here, catch this casket. It is worth the pains. I am glad 'tis tonight you do not look on me, for I am much ashamed of my exchange. For love is blind, and lovers cannot see the brief follies that themselves commit. For if they could, Cupid himself would blush to see me thus transformed to a boy.
Descend, for you must be my fortune.
What must I hold a candle to my shades? They in themselves good sooth. are too light. Why 'tis in office of discovery love, and I should be obscured.
So are you, sweetie, even in the lucky dark shall avoid. Or come at once, for the close night up, play the run away. And we're saved for, was it Bassanio or Bassanio? At least
Bassanio, I think.
Bassanio.
Yeah.
I will make fast the doors and gild myself with some ducats and be with you straight.
She's gonna grab some more money and then she's gonna come back.
Now by my hood of gentle and you surround me, but I love her heartily, for she is wise, if I can judge of her. Fair she is that mine eyes be straight, true she is, and she hath proved herself. And therefore, like yourself, wise, fair, and true, shall keep you placed in my heart.
Enter Jessica from below now on the street.
What, art thou come? On, gentlemen, away. Our masking waits by this time for us stay.
Exit, everybody, and enter Antonio. Did we do an Antonio?
No.
Okay, who's there?
Oh, Senor Antonio?
Fie, Graciano, where are all the rest? 'Tis 9 o'clock, our friends all stay for you. No mass tonight, the wind has come about. But what did we say it was?
Bassanio.
Bassanio presently will go aboard. I have sent 20 out to seek for you.
I'm glad. I desire no more delight than to be under sail and gone.
Exit. Okay, now we're back at Portia's house. There's a flourish of cornets. Enter Portia with Morocco and both their trains.
So draw aside the curtains and discover several caskets.
The first of gold, who this inscription bears. Who chooseth me shall gain what many men desire. The second silver, with this promise carries. Who chooseth me shall get as much as he deserves. This third, dull lead, with warning all is blunt. Who chooseth me must give and hazard all he hath. How shall I know if I do choose the right?
One of them contains my picture prints, each back and I am yours.
Some God direct my judgment. Let me see. I will survey the inscriptions back again. Who says this leaden casket? What says this leaden casket? Who chooseth me must give and hazard all he hath. Must give for what? For lead? Hazard for lead? This casket threatens. Men that hazard all do it in hope of fair advantages. Golden mind stoops not to shows of dross. I'll then nor give nor hazard aught for lead. What says the silver with a virgin hue? Who chooseth me shall get as much as he deserves. As much as he deserves. Pause there, Morocco, and weigh thy value with an even hand. If thou beest rated in thy estimation, thou dost deserve enough, and yet enough may not extend so far as to the lady. And yet to be afeard of my deserving were but a weak disabling of myself. As much as I deserve, why, that's the lady. I do in birth deserve her, and in fortunes, in graces, and in qualities of breeding. But more than these, in love I do deserve. What if I strayed no further but chose here? Let's see once more this saying graved in gold. Who chooseth me shall gain what many men desire. Why, that's the lady. All the world desires her. From the four corners of the earth they come to kiss this shrine, this mortal breathing saint. The Hyrankian deserts and the vasty wilds of wide Arabia are as thoroughfares now for princes to come view fair Portia. The watery kingdom, whose ambition's head spets in the face of heaven, is no bar to stop the foreign spirits. But they come as over a brook to see fair Portia. One of these three contains her heavenly picture. Is it like that lead contains her? 'Twere damnation to think so base a thought. It were too gross to rip her chair cloth in the obscure grave. Or shall I think in silver she's immured, being 10 times undervalued to tried gold? Oh, sinful thought, never so rich a gem was set in worse than gold. They have in England a coin that bears the figure of an angel stamped in gold, but that's insculpted upon. But here an angel in a golden bed lies all within. Deliver me the key. Here do I choose and thrive I as I may.
There, take it, Prince.
So he opens the golden casket. Oh, hell. That's such a funny line. Sorry. Oh, hell. What have we here? A carrion death within whose empty eye there is a written scroll. I'll read the writing. All that glisters is not gold. Often have you heard that told. Many a man in his life has sold, but my outside to behold, gilded tombs do worms enfold. Have you been as wise as bold, young in limbs, in judgment old? Your answer had not been enscrolled. Fare you well, your suit is cold. Cold indeed and labor lost. Then farewell heat and welcome frost. Portia, adieu. I have too grieved a heart to take a tedious leave. Thus losers depart. Lose.
A gentle riddance, draw the curtains go, but all
And accept. All right. Enter Salario and Solano.
why man, I saw Bob son of sail. His Marciano gone along and in their ship all came too late, the ship was under sail. There the two that in Gondola or seven, still and almost just come. Besides Antonio certified they were not less on
So right there, Solanio is making fun of Shylock, and he's kind of like putting on a voice. And so him saying, "My daughter, oh my ducats, oh my daughter, fled with a Christian, oh my Christian ducats." Like he's like sort of saying, like, what does the Jew care about most? Does he care about his daughter or does he care about his gold? And Solanio, the way he's making fun of it, makes it very clear that it's the gold that he's going to miss more.
why all the boys and minutes I reasoned with very well remembered. I reasoned with the French in the narrow seas that part the French and English. There is carried vessel of our shores. I thought of more a kinder gentleman treads on her. I saw Bassanio move and Bassanio told him makes him speed up. Answered, do not so. Sliver not business, Christ's sake, Bassanio, but stay the very ripping of the tongue. And for the Jew gone, she hath been. Let it not enter into my will. To marry an employer cheapest thoughts, to the courtship and such fair offense of love, as so conveniently becoming there. And even there his eye being faithful to and with affection honors he brought Bassanio's name.
They're worried about Antonio's ships, right? Okay. Enter Nerissa and a servitor in the back in the palace.
Quick, quick, I pray you, draw the curtains straight. The Prince of Aragon hath taken his oath and comes to his election.
In a flourish of cornets, enter Aragon, his train, and Portia.
Behold, there stand the caskets of the prince. You choose that wherein I will contain. Straight shall the usual rights song. But if you fail without more speech, I will pass it upon.
I am enjoined by oath to observe three things. First, never to unfold to anyone which casket 'twas I chose. Next, if I fail of the right casket, never in my life to woo a maid in way of marriage. Lastly, if I do fail in fortune of my choice, immediately to leave you and be gone.
To these injunctions, everyone doth swear that love is so.
And so have I addressed me. Fortune now to my heart's hope, gold, silver, and base lead. Who chooseth me must give and hazard all he hath. You shall look fairer ere I give or hazard. What says the golden chest? Ha, let me see. Who chooseth me shall gain what many men desire. What many men desire, that many may be meant by the full multitude that choose by show, not learning more than the fond eye doth teach, which prize not to the interior, but like the martlet, builds in the weather on the outward wall, even in the force and road of casualty. I will not choose what many men desire, because I will not jump with common spirits and rank me with the barbarous multitudes. Why then, to thee, thou silver treasure house, tell me once more what title thou dost bear? Who chooseth me shall get as much as he deserves. And well said too, for who shall go about to cause and fortune and be honorable without the stamp of merit? Let none presume to wear an undeserved dignity of that estate's degrees and offices were not derived corruptly, and that clear honor were purchased by the merit of the wearer. How many then should cover that stand bare? How many be commanded that command? How much low peasantry would then be gleaned from the true seed of honor? And how much honor picked from the chaff and ruin of the times to be varnished? Well, but to my choice, who chooseth me shall get as much as he deserves. I will assume desert. Give me a key for this and instantly unlock my fortunes here. He opens the silver casket.
To follow the cause for that which you find there.
What's here? Portrait of a blinking idiot presenting me a schedule. And I will read it. How much unlike art thou to Portia? How much unlike my hopes and my deservings? Who chooseth me shall have as much as he deserves. Did I deserve no more than a fool's head? Is that my prize? Are my deserts no better?
To offend and judge are distinct offices.
What is here? There's a little scroll with the thing on it. The fire 7 times tried this, 7 times tried that judgment is, that did never choose amiss. Some there be that shadow's kiss, such have but a shadow's bliss. There be fools alive, I wis, silvered over, and so was this. Take what wife you will to bed, I will never be your head, so be gone, you are sped. Still more fool I shall appear, by the time I linger here, with one fool's head I come to woo, but I go away with 2. Sweet a Jew, I'll keep my oath, patiently to bear my wrath. Exit with his train.
Thus applicant sits on. Oh, these when they choose, they have to decide. Need to think is no different, and even what
Oh, anyone want to be the messenger?
here, what would Talmud? Oh, actually, I am happy to your follow say thus spins such conflict. Bassanio, Lord of
So Nerissa knows that Portia likes Bassanio, and she's kind of like, she knows that it's Bassanio at the door. So it's like, hey, the next suitor is a real good one. And Portia's like, oh, I am so sick of suitors. Like, I don't know, is he a relative of yours or something? And she's like, oh, I hope it's Bassanio actually at the door. Or no, that not, I hope it's Bassanio at the door. I hope Bassanio chooses the right chest is kind of there at the end. Okay, there's that too, kind of long. We got through it. This act is very interesting for like all of these different short little segments. Like there's a lot of like changing the scene as it goes through back and forth from between like kind of the 2 subplots here. Shylock and Jessica and Lorenzo, and then Portia and Nerissa and all of the suitors, right? I want to show you a clip that was done of this in more recent times, maybe the last 10 years or so. So the main challenge with putting on this play is the ethnic, racial, cultural differences between people. Obviously, in the past, they weren't as sensitive to this character, Shylock and Jessica. These days, they try to find kind of the way to look at him more sympathetically. And they really bring out like the ironies in the speeches and the ways that Shakespeare seems to be criticizing not just Shylock, but also the culture that kind of made Shylock. So I'm going to show you an example of how they've done that. it does tend to make the play more sober than it has been. Like, it tends to kind of not erase the comedy, but sort of downplay the comedy in favor of a more sympathetic portrayal. Here, I need to pause the video because I'll get copyright. Okay, so for your activity today, you are going to choose one of the following scenes: scene 2, scene 7, or scene 9. You are going to choose a new setting for that scene, and you are going to update the language. So the language for the setting. So if you choose a high school auditorium for your setting, then the language should be like what a high school student would say, if that makes sense. And then 3, this is the important part. You're going to try to, either through performance or through language, change who we align with in that scene, who we are rooting for. So in scene 2, for example, it's the one between the 2 clowns. And I want you to change then. Right now we basically root for the young clown because he's like funny and seems like a cool guy or whatever. I want you to change the alliance so that we root for his blind father instead. So choose whichever scene you like and submit your little written play. Oh, and I was clear, you don't need to do a word for word translation. That's ridiculous, but make sure maybe it's like 15 lines at the most.